Well, thank you so much for keeping it Alfajiri. Of course, we come your way every weekday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Shiko Kaitani is my name, and of course, welcome to Rise and Shine, where we're all about life lessons. Now, today on this show, we talk about getting a fresh start. And every once in a while, we need to stop, think, and re-strategize on where to go next. It does happen. And of course, we need you to take it from our guest today, Alexis Mwathi, who found himself in a rut, managed to overcome his hurdles, and even write about it. His book is titled The Bailout Plan, where he gives 7 principles to get your life back on track. So please stay tuned if you want to find out how you can reboot your life. Alex, karibu sana.
Asante.
Nice having you on set.
Yes.
Okay, so a lot of times we see you on TV, you are talking about politics, but today you are here to inspire us.
Yes, that's true.
Okay,
that's true.
So what really happened in your case? How low did you go to the point where you realized that you needed a bailout plan?
2003.
Yes.
God blesses us with a son. After 8 years of waiting.
Yeah.
This was the third,
Wow.
the third son, the third born child. And on the second week visit to the doctor, we were told he has what they call VSD, it's called tetralogy-of-Fallot, the heart disease, congenital heart disease. And the doctors gave him 3 months to live.
Oh, wow.
At that time, an operation could not take place in Kenya for toddlers. So we needed to look outside and look for somewhere where we could do the operations. And India, France, UK, all over. We didn't want to go to India, but the rest of the world was very expensive.
Yeah.
But we prayed to God. Talked to our friends who joined us in that prayer and all that. And by the time he was 1 year, number one, he didn't die after 3 months.
Okay.
And number two,
Amen.
when he was 1 year,
Yes.
we had an opportunity to take him to United States of America,
Okay.
University of Alabama Children's Hospital,
Yeah.
and he was operated on.
Okay.
And some people that we'll never know paid for the bill.
Really?
Yeah, 100%.
Well wishes.
Yes, 100%. We didn't do Harambe. Heart-to-Heart Foundation of Alabama.
Oh.
They paid for the fee.
Oh,
on a
that's
second
great.
operation,
Yeah.
the doctors personally paid for it.
Yes.
For whatever reason, because they told me that this child has touched us in a way that we cannot understand.
Wow.
And for that reason, we, Dr. Corbin and Professor Pacifico,
Yeah.
we are going to pay your bill.
Okay.
And they did.
So once you found out, of course, it's heartbreaking in the beginning, but
Yes.
then the story ends well.
Very
How
well.
then did you end up now, getting yourself into a point where...
Because the thinking, I started thinking about what could have happened. One, because the child, it wasn't a simple problem. He still sees doctors, but he's very well. He's 15 years old now, but he's doing very well.
Wow, yeah.
I started thinking, what if? And I realized that when you look at it afterwards, you realize you are very low. The amount of time that my wife spent crying about it, I didn't cry much, but I fell down about it.
Yeah.
A gift from God, and then you're watching and you are helpless.
Yes.
And I realized that there's something that one can do, even in the midst of those situations, to be able to turn it around, and for you to be able to walk again with your face, your chest in front. Yes.
Okay, well, I can imagine even as he's managed to get to 15 years, and that's such a blessing, still it's been nerve-wracking in between because you're still tense about the situation.
No. What happened is that when something major happens in your life, and that's why I wrote the book, you then realize that there are certain steps that you can make every single time, every single day, to refocus your mind on the positive and on the future, as opposed to the situation that you have in hand. And realize that what can I do about this particular situation to turn it around or to make it better?
Yeah.
If you focus your mind on that, then you don't get tense. Because if he has to go for a medical checkup, he'll go for a medical checkup.
Right.
If the doctor says he's fine, why would you worry? Because you know if the doctor says he's fine. And he's done quite well.
Okay.
He just remains with one operation and then
Yes.
he'll be done.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
and of
yeah.
course we're praying for him.
Yes, and the hospital will pay
Yeah.
for it. So,
Good news, good
thank God,
news.
yeah. And I'm
Oh,
not talking about,
yeah,
we're not talking about $2,000.
Yeah.
You're talking about
in the millions.
in the millions.
Okay.
Yes.
So that right there is now where we can actually kick off. The fact that everybody experiences problems in their
Yes,
lives.
yes,
We
yes,
all
yes,
have
yes,
challenges
yes.
of different magnitudes.
Different
obviously.
magnitude, different types, different
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, but the problem is, do we then tend to focus too much on the problem as opposed to solution, or at least changing our mindset?
100%. And that's what keeps us in what I call a rut. Because being in a rut is being in a situation that you find very difficult to even run your own life. And like you say, it's true that all of us experience different levels of discomfort or different level of problems. One would be medical, one would be financial, one would be academic, one would be
Yeah.
visual without any legs or hands or legs. But our mindset, our attitude actually determines where you go. And Shiko, for me, what I've discovered, and this is not my invention,
Right.
I just picked it up from a man called Jack Canfield. There's a formula that is always in front of my face.
Okay.
E plus R equals O. E stands for events of life.
Okay.
R stands for our response to the events, and O stands for our outcome. So if you combine the events that happen, we combine with our response to them, it gives us an outcome. So here you have a child who has congenital heart disease.
Right.
What's your response to that? You can keep crying every day. You
Yeah.
can pity parties and all that.
Yes.
Or you can choose to pray, you can choose to
Yes.
find out who else can do it, you can start talking to friends, you can,
Yeah.
Yeah. That is your response. It gives you an outcome. If you do a pity party, the child dies.
That's true.
If you contact everybody, you get, most often than not, nature works around to make
Yeah.
sure that you get a solution.
And
So
it-
whatever
yeah,
you go
yeah.
through, events, you can do nothing about it.
About the- 'cause that's happened.
They will happen in
Yeah.
spite of you, despite of you, irrespective of you. What's your response?
Yes.
That gives you the outcome.
Yes.
You have only control on your response.
That's true. It all depends on how you respond to situations.
Yes.
You know, one of the people I love listening to is TD Jakes, and people who watch Rise and Shine actually know that Ashiko is a very huge fan. And he keeps saying, I get very surprised about people who don't think that we all have weeds in our garden. Everybody.
We all have.
Yeah, every single person. But you get amazed that there are some people who see you on TV or see Bill Gates or see, so-and-so, Uhuru Kenyatta or whoever, they admire, but they don't seem to have any issues in their life.
Yes. Everyone has. What makes people to be able to stand in front,
Yes.
be happy, be bubbly, be positive about things, is a realization that one, my response to every situation determines the outcome of that situation. That's number one.
Number one.
Number two is the fact that when you learn that happiness comes from within, no one can make you happy.
Yeah.
No one. You've got to decide to be happy.
Yeah.
It's an inside job.
It's an inside job.
If you wait for other people to make you happy, and by the way, nobody can get you annoyed also.
That's true.
It's a choice you make.
Yes, it's very true.
I drive in Nairobi, and you know how matatus drive, crazily. And I'm always having a smile on my face.
Yes.
Because
you're like, it's not going to let
I
me down
make sure
today.
I don't have that thing that they call road rage.
Yes.
I used to have it.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes it kicks in. But when it kicks in, I quickly turn around and say, oh my God, what was that? That was being stupid. So if a matatu comes in cross of me, what do I do?
Yeah.
It happened. Was my response. Hi.
Let it go.
Let it go. Just go on. Just go and have your accident ahead.
I like that.
Do you know what happens in most instances?
Yeah.
If the driver sees me, they stop and let me. Every single time. Which means our response determines the outcome.
Determines the outcome.
Yeah.
One thing that we tend to do as human beings, especially if things are not going well in our lives, is blame ourselves or shift the blame to others. Of course, there's the blaming of God. What do you have to say about that, especially for individuals who seem to, have that burden on themselves that, okay, I could have done better. My son is unwell. This is God. This is also me. Why don't I have the funds or this or that or the capability to help, the child? It's just, we tend to blame ourselves.
We want to discuss the things that pulls us down, the things that makes us not actually reach our destiny, reach our goals in life.
Yeah.
I would classify blaming others and blaming ourselves at the top of the list. Because it's so easy to blame others. Because when you blame others, and that's the first principle, taking 100% responsibility for your life. When you blame others, you take the responsibility from you and dump it on others. And the moment you dump it to others, you become a garbage truck. And when you become a garbage truck, the only work that the garbage truck does is to dump garbage. That's it. And it makes your mind be clogged so that you cannot be able to see forward.
Yeah.
Practical example this week. The governor of Nairobi gives an order that matatus do not come in town.
Yeah.
We all knew it can't work. We all knew.
Didn't take a scientist.
It didn't need research, it's not rocket science.
It's not rocket science.
If you don't have a way of moving people from where they are being dropped into the town, people will walk for kilometers upon kilometers. It can't work. What has happened? Now he's blaming the police for causing the jams on Monday. Shifting the blame to others. It makes your mind clogged and you cannot progress. As an individual, as a nation, we can never progress as long as we find someone to blame.
And that's what gets us in the rut.
Completely. It actually is like you go with a vehicle that in a rut. And the wheels are spinning and they're digging themselves in. So the more I sit there and blame others, why did God give me a son with congenital heart disease? Why didn't he do that? Why?
Why didn't I achieve my goals?
You sit in your house and keep worrying about that. A lot of people go to the offices where they work and they blame their bosses.
For why
they blame their supervisors for the situation that they are in. I keep telling people, I've never bothered with my boss. I work there because they want me there.
Right.
So I obey them. I'm old now. I still obey those that supervise me. Why?
Yes.
Because the moment I stop doing that and I start blaming others for my situation, you'll never progress if you do.
Right.
You must stop.
Another thing that you actually mentioned in your book is about seeking approval from others.
Yes.
As a way, as a roadblock, so to speak. We've talked about blaming others. Now we're talking about seeking approval.
Seeking that approval, this comes out of the lacking what we call self-esteem, self-respect. And a lot of time when you find people blaming others is because they lack self-esteem.
As well, okay.
Yes. It doesn't matter whether you are governor of Nairobi or the president. If you lack self-esteem, the same thing will happen. Because nature will work around for you to go ahead. You may have something else. And it's critical. For me, what I keep telling people is very simple. That you are uniquely made. Actually, the Bible records that you're fearfully and wonderfully made.
That's true.
David realized that. And that means that when you're made, there's nobody else.
Right.
Allow me to say this, although it's a family time, that the process of conception, my conception, was that almost 400 million sperms left my father. And only one was meant to fertilize the egg that my mother produced on that day.
Yes.
And guess what?
Yes.
400 million of us left.
That's true.
My brothers and sisters. We left. And we are all running to that one egg.
That's true.
Can you believe I'm
race.
the only one that hit it?
Yes.
In the fertilization process. So when you see me today, you must realize that I'm 1 in 400 million. That the chances of my being born was in the region of 1 in 400 million.
Right.
If I beat 400 brothers and sisters on my day one on earth, why would I require anybody else to approve me? It means I'm very special. That's why when I walk around, people say, I think I've seen you. I think I know you. Yes, you do. You do, because I'm so special.
Oh, that's so tough.
I'm the child of a king.
I like that.
If we can start thinking in terms of where you've come from, the fact that at the point of conception you became a winner. And I look at it as this, that God in heaven must have sent angels to ensure that the sperm that was me is the one that fertilize the eggs.
Yeah.
So you can imagine among the 400, the angels were celebrating and say, that one.
Yes.
And then imagine the celebration
You make
in
it
heaven
sound
when
like
I
they were
hit it.
betting when they were up there, and they're like,
Thank
okay,
you.
okay, go,
Maybe
go,
there was
go.
betting and there was sports pesa, and I won.
Yes, you did win.
I made somebody
the
a millionaire.
jackpot.
Yes, I made somebody a millionaire.
That's great.
For
yeah.
that reason,
Yeah.
I keep telling people,
Right.
walk with pride.
Right.
Walk with pride. And I'm not talking about the pride that brings everybody down.
That's true.
It's a pride that appreciates that I am who I am because I am.
And I'm unique.
Not because
Yeah.
you will tell me, not because anybody will inform me,
Yeah.
but because I am.
Okay, I like that.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit even about being careful as to how we think and the state of our mind, and how this is actually a seed for, like you said, the outcome. So the way we think and the way we view ourselves ultimately determines our outcome. What you're starting today is probably what you're going to produce 10 years from today, and why you have to start now. Can you talk to us a little bit about that, about why it needs to start now? You need to reboot now.
It's Henry Ford who said that a man is as he thinketh. If you think it is, or if you think it is not, you are right.
Yeah.
That our minds and the way we think determines how we move forward.
Okay.
It's like planting a seed.
Right.
Our thoughts like planting a seed. That there is a story of Chinese bamboo tree. Chinese bamboo tree, they plant the seed, they water the ground for 5 years.
A good 5 years.
The day the shoot pops out, after 5 years,
Yes.
and then after 5 years, in 7 weeks, it's 90 feet tall.
Wow.
So you wait for 5 years, but you harvest billions of shillings.
That's true.
And our minds are the same. Because the question you ask yourself is, did the bamboo tree become 90 feet in 7 weeks, or did it come 90 feet in 5 years, 7 weeks? I want to tell our listeners this morning that it became 90 feet in 5 years and 7 weeks. If you water, if you stop fertilizing it,
Yeah.
it will never be able to come out. So the same thing with your mind. Our mind is like a computer that lets in information and gives you solution. So
Yeah.
that your face is like your keyboard
Yes.
and the display board, and your subconscious mind is your central processing unit
Right.
in a
Your
computer.
CPU,
Your
yeah.
CPU. So when you put garbage in, invariably with time, garbage
Garbage
will
out.
come out. Because the subconscious mind cannot work in a vacuum. Just like a processing unit. When you type 1 plus 1,
Yes.
the computer gives you 2. Why? Because you have already fed it with information saying 1 plus 1 equals 2, or 3 plus 2 is equal 5.
Yeah.
If you don't feed that, it can never give you an answer.
Yeah.
In the same way, you and me, the much we allow negative thoughts come to our mind,
Yes.
things that draw us back, we keep thinking negatively in our life.
Right.
And we remain in the rut.
Okay. You talk about, and this is actually on the cover of his book, it says 7 principles to get us out of the rut of life. And we're going to get to the principles very quick as we wind up. And the secrets of abundant living. What is abundant living in your opinion? Like, how would you define it?
In my opinion, abundant living is reaching your destiny.
Okay.
Every one of us has a purpose in this world that God created us for.
Yeah.
When you reach that destiny,
Yes.
you'll be living in abundance.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with cars
FYI.
that you have.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with the thing that a lot of churches are preaching today. And people are talking about. Like when you have more money, you have more cars, and you're more blessed.
Yes.
I call that baloney. It's nonsensical.
Yes. Yeah.
Is reaching your destiny in God.
Okay.
The Bible itself is a reflection of that. Not everybody in the Bible was a rich person.
Right.
But there are a couple of people that, like Enoch, who went to be with the Lord. He wasn't
That's
a rich
true.
man.
That's true. And he lived his life
He
to the
lived his
yes.
life to the full.
Yes.
So what is my purpose? My purpose, I've discovered, is to inspire others to reach their destiny.
That's true.
So for me, every single day,
Yeah.
I must ensure that at least touch 4 people that I don't know. Every single day.
Wow.
Every single day. It would be a watchman, it would be whatever, it would be someone that I talk to, and I give them a word of encouragement.
Okay.
Yesterday, I went to some place and I gave out this book to the man who opened the door for me.
Oh,
He said, I'm blessing you with this.
Yes, yes.
Then I went to the office where I was going. By the time I came back, there were 6 security guards waiting for me.
Because they all want
They
you.
all want. Because their supervisor came and picked
Yeah.
the book.
Yes.
He flipped through and he told him, where did you get this book? He said, there's a man who walked in here and gave me. He said, okay, me, I'm taking this. When he comes back, he would borrow, you ask for you.
Great.
He told him, no,
That's
no, wait
such a
for him.
blessing. Yeah.
So I found them waiting.
Okay, all right.
When you touch 6 people at
Yes.
a go like that,
Yeah.
for me, the day was done.
That's true. And for you, that's what's feeding your soul.
That is
That's
what my spirit,
Yeah.
that is what living in abundance means for me.
Okay, so we're going to ask Alex if today he feels like blessing us with a few copies of his book. Do you feel like blessing our audience this morning? Because we've got 3
Yes.
copies on set.
Yes, yes,
Okay, so we're going to ask you to do the very same thing that we always ask you to do right here on Alpha Jiri, is send us a message at least on Twitter, on Facebook, at K24TV, on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, and just let us know if you would actually would want or desire this book by Alexius Murphy, The Bailout Plan, and actually understand the 7 principles to get out of the ruts of life, and of course the secrets to abundant living. Very quickly as we wind up and we say goodbye, Alex, why don't you give us at least 5? Because I feel this discussion is so timely. Look, we're towards the end of the year.
Yes.
This is a lot that we can think about. You know, take
For
this,
the beginning of
this
the year.
holiday, and then as we come into 2019, we've got something at least to look forward to. And this is some great information that we can ponder on. Why don't you give us 7, at least some principles, rather, very quickly.
Number 1, we must take 100% responsibility for our lives.
Yes.
We must stop blaming others. We must stop walking around like a chicken without heads. We must realize that E plus R equals O what every time,
Okay.
100% of the time. That's number
2.
1.
Yeah.
Number 2, we must decide what we want.
Okay.
A lot of time, people don't fail because they aim too high and miss. People fail because they aim too low and they hit.
All right.
So decide what you want.
Number 3.
Number 3, you must realize for you to be able to move from where you are to where you want to be, you must take a risk.
Okay.
Without taking risk, you can't go anywhere.
All right.
Number 4, you must find your purpose in life. That which that you must do, and this you find by giving out yourself to life.
Okay.
Number 5,
5,
sorry,
yes.
you must believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself.
You are special. You are 1 in 400 million.
Yes.
You're not a product of chance.
Yes.
Somebody selected you specifically for you to be here to achieve that what he wanted you to achieve.
Okay.
Believe in that.
Okay.
Believe in yourself.
All right.
And you move forward.
And you know what? The last 2, we're going to tell you, read the book. That's a mystery for all of us. Okay, so very quickly, as we wind up and thank Alex Murphy for stepping into studio. Of course, he is the author of The Bailout Plan, a motivational speaker with us today, talking to us about how to reboot our lives. Remember, E plus R equals O. And with that, our quote of the day comes in from American author Richelle E. Goodrich, who goes on to say that it isn't always a change of scenery needed to make life better. Sometimes it simply requires opening your eyes. I love it.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Fantastic, yeah.
Okay, continue to interact with us at K24TV on Instagram, Facebook, as well as Twitter.